The main source of natural water for the Bilbao Bizkaia Water Consortium is the rain that falls within the territory. Data for recent years shows that the average rainfall in Bizkaia is 1,200 liters per square meter, and that November and December are the rainiest months. Water collection is an essential key phase for the commencement of the water cycle. Like all the processes and their phases, this is carried out in a sustainable manner, in keeping with aspects of the natural surroundings and guaranteeing protection of the environment. Reservoirs such as these, Urunyaga and Ulibari-Gamboa, forming part of the Zadorra system, hold 90% of the total water distributed to users by the Bilbao Bizkaia Water Consortium. Thanks to the different elevations of the local region, gravity is used to take the water along a pipeline network to the 23 purification plants managed by the organization. This entire operation is carried out with hardly any additional energy consumption. Although the water in the reservoirs is top quality, it does contain some impurities, sediment and bacteria which must be removed before the water can be used. This next phase of the water cycle is carried out here at Venta Alta, the main purification plant. The Venta Alta plant brings in water from the reservoirs. The plant has a processing capacity of 7 cubic meters per second. A number of steps are taken to purify the water, such as decantation to remove suspended matter, filtration to eliminate microscopic particles, and chlorination to disinfect it and remove pathogens. The tanks at the plant store water that is guaranteed to be clean and of good quality. In a bid to lower the plant's energy consumption, the largest photovoltaic array in Bizkaia was fitted to the roof of the tanks in order to generate almost 600 megawatts of electricity per hour. The energy generated is the equivalent of 21% of the plant's consumption, reducing both the environmental impact and the economic outlay. The Bilbao Water Consortium provides a drinking water service for a population of over 1 million, featuring a distribution network with almost 4,000 kilometers of piping. The latest data shows that less than 100 liters of water per person per day is consumed in Bizkaia. The network has 129 tanks and 82 pumping stations to guarantee the supply of drinking water 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The consortium's management task, however, is not only to supply drinking water. Now the water has to be cleaned. One very important phase of the water cycle, which is essential to guarantee the targets set by the Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, comprises the wastewater collection and purification processes. More than 400 kilometers of primary sanitation piping carries household and industrial waste to wastewater treatment plants. One of our most emblematic facilities is the Deusto University siphon. This remarkable feat of engineering below the river estuary in Bilbao takes wastewater from one side of the river to the other. It is then conveyed to the main wastewater treatment plant at Galindo in Sestao. This facility, part of the 1979 Metropolitan Bilbao Integral Sanitation Plan, as well as wastewater collectors and interceptors, help remove pollutants from the basins of rivers and tributaries, and also helps prevent odors, thereby meeting our commitment to environmental protection. The Galindo wastewater treatment plant is the main facility and hub of the integral sanitation plan. It can handle a throughput of 12,000 litres per second. Each day it can process an average of 350,000 cubic meters of household and industrial wastewater. Basically, this plant carries out two major processes. It separates out harmful, rotting matter from the liquid, and once the water is perfectly clean, it is returned to the natural environment to close the water circle. Waste and sludge extracted from the water are major pollutants and must be processed. That is why the tasks carried out at wastewater plants like this one are so important and crucial in terms of environmental responsibility. The first step is to remove the largest solids using different grades of mechanical sieves. There is a lot of industry in the province of Bizkaia, so the treatment of oils and greases requires continuous, painstaking work. After the solids have been removed, the dirty water is degreased and desanded in these tanks. Air is pumped in to bring oil and grease in the water to the surface, and this is removed by scrapers working from side to side in each tank. In the case of sand, on the other hand, its own weight will bring it down to the bottom of the tanks, where it can be collected for subsequent treatment. Wastewater undergoes the various phases of its treatment in a labyrinth of underground piping, branching out into subterraneous corridors across the entire plant, thereby reducing the emission of any odors, as well as the visual impact on the surroundings. At the end of the process, the final decantation, known as clarifying, will remove the last particles from the water and collect them as sludge. All the sludge generated during the cleaning process is collected to be processed. The first step is to remove any excess water from the sludge. The sludge is dewatered in these filter presses to separate the liquid from solid matter mechanically. The sludge is then taken to 3 kilns for incineration. The heat caused by this process generates steam, which is piped to large turbines to generate electricity. All this energy will be used to power the plant. The water, now once again clean and guaranteed to not be harmful to the environment, is returned to the River Galindo, thus helping to regenerate and preserve our surroundings. In addition to controlling the purification process, the plant carries out remote, real-time management of the facilities forming part of the integral sanitation plan, like stormwater tanks and pumping stations. This closes the urban water cycle, complying with the ISO 14001 standard in terms of environmental protection and risk, in accordance with the precepts of the circular economy. Hygiene habits have undergone many changes, and in general, we have learned to appreciate the water that flows from our taps and use it reasonably. There is a lot of awareness around water, but it is important to remember that it is a scarce resource and that climate change forecasts are predicting ever more extreme situations of either prolonged precipitation or long dry spells. We must be conscious of how valuable water is and of everything we do when we use water daily. At the Consortium, we stay abreast of any unexpected contingencies that could compromise the present volume of water, and our infrastructure guarantees a supply to all households, businesses and industries. The Consortium's courses of action call for detailed planning, adapted to the reality of each town and each district, while at all times ensuring compliance with our mandatory principles: integration of water cycle management, homogeneity in service quality, and uniformity in rates. Investment programs and plans must naturally be economically feasible and set to realistic timelines, but they must also be sufficiently flexible to take into account contingencies such as a pandemic, higher energy costs, supply shortages, etc. This call for an excellent, immediate response with no alterations to service is a challenging task for the management team. Our organization is accountable to its owners, the town halls, the Bizkaia Provincial Council, and the Basque government. Our main task, however, is to reach households, shops, retailers, etc. to inform them that all amounts that appear on their bills are invested in the construction, maintenance, and improvement of infrastructure. In order to adapt to ever more sustainable and efficient standards, to become environmentally neutral, and to maintain and improve the living standards of the people of Bizkaia.